All right, hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Loui Silvestri. I'm one of the two owners from the Bull and Thistle pub in Gainsborough. Who knows where Gainsborough is? All right, that's a start. You should note that we are going to be celebrating our 4-year anniversary come, as a matter of fact, appropriately, St. Pat's Day.
Wow.
4 years. So it was back in 2013 that we started the pub, myself and my business partner. And Chef Mandli has been with us from the very beginning. Back in 2013, we had brought with us Chef Barry O'Connor. Some of you may have heard him, a renowned chef from Cork, Ireland. And he was with us for approximately 3 years, 2.5 years, something of that nature, as an executive chef, training our staff, including Chef Ben. Then after Chef O'Connor left, we hired another chef by the name of Garrett Scanlon. Maybe some of you know him from PBS shows that he has, another very renowned chef, to help fine-tune Chef Ben and the other staff members as well. And after his stint of 4 or 5 months with us, Chef Ben took over as head chef. That was October 2016, I believe, correct? And Ben has been our head chef ever since. So today Ben is going to demonstrate the preparation of something called a Dublin Lawyer. It's one of the favorites at the Bull and Thistle. It's a very rich meal. Always consists of seafood. It usually contains lobster, and that's what we use, but not always. Sometimes it can have scallops, sometimes it can contain other shrimp or other seafoods. There are a lot of variations in it, depending upon which part of Ireland the Dublin Lawyer is made. It's about 200-year-old recipe as a starter, though, and no one really knows what the origin of the name is for Dublin Lawyer, but best guess is that the Dublin Lawyers preferred very rich foods, and since the Dublin Lawyer's meal often contains a fair amount of whiskey, yeah, you can put it together with the lawyers there as well. So Chef Ben is going to demonstrate the preparation using lobster today, which, in fact, all of the ingredients that you'll be using are readily available, so you can make it yourself. Of course, not as good as ours, but you should be able to make it yourselves after this demonstration. Now, after the demonstration, we do have some samples that have been made at the pub. They have scallop in it, I believe, correct?
Correct.
And we also have some cards, which, by the way, since they do have scallop, or even if it did have lobster, any of you who have food allergies to seafood, this is not the dish for you. So otherwise, please feel free to come up and taste it. We also have coupons. If you can come up after the demonstration, I'll provide them to you. This will provide a free dessert for a group of up to 4 desserts, 4 entrees. By the entree, you get a free dessert. Also have example menus for you, if you would like to take those with you. And we also have business cards. So with no further ado, Chef Ben, our head chef.
How's everybody doing today? I'd like to first say I'm not a public speaker, I'm a chef, so bear with me. But I do hope to provide you with some excitement and a little drama, a little excitement with food. I get excited about it. I don't know if everybody else gets excited about it, but I certainly do. The Dublin Lawyer, I chose the Dublin Lawyer not just because it's been on the menu forever, but every ingredient that I'm going to use today, like Louis said, is readily available at Kroger, and it's a fantastic dish. The sauce I'm going to build from scratch. We're going to first make a red pepper coulis, first by quartering the red peppers. It's always good to preheat your pans. Cooking with a hot pan is preferable. Cooking with a cold pan, not so well. What a hot pan does for most dishes is trap in what moisture that the product may have. With the red pepper coulis, all you have to do is just quarter the pepper Nothing fancy. You're going to cook it down. Cooking it down until that is pliable, easy to use. Use what I refer to as a liquidizer, but what most call blender.
What oil is that?
That is canola oil.
No.
Yeah. You can use olive oil. I use canola oil because olive oil, even though preferred or more healthy and this and that, canola oil has little to no flavor that would impact the flavor of the dish. Olive oil, depending upon the import or where it came from, has a bold sort of flavor to it, maybe an earthy type flavor, that could affect the flavor of the dish. My assistant today is Robert. He's one of the commie chefs here at the Thistle. After the red peppers cook down, we'll liquidize them, turn them into the coulis. The coulis will then be folded into our white wine sauce. It's what's called a velouté.
What's that?
More canola oil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm going to turn the heat up on this to kind of speed up the process for the time frame that we have allowed ourselves. These are just already peeled garlic. Peeled them. We'll just smash them with a knife. Again, they'll be blended up and put into the sauce. I like to use pearl onions. They're cute. They also have a nice bite to them. They're a delicate onion flavor, so it won't overwhelm the dish. And also, they're just kind of fun to use. Canola, also butter into the pan as well.
Butter and take around butter and bacon.
If the pan gets too hot, you can always use water just to cool down the pan so you don't burn your product or burn the butter or anything that may compromise the dish. What I'm doing with this red pepper is I'm julienning it. Julienning is a type of cut. It's just sort of a long S type thing. We're going to let the peppers cook down in that. Release some of the aromas of the onion into the sauce, into the oil. Get some of the pepper flavor into the oil. After that, we're going to put the lobster on. The best way to cook lobster, in my opinion, even though there's many ways to do it, you can grill it, you can cook it quickly, you can do it whatever, is what's called a blanc mange. A blanc mange is a slow oil and water emulsion. The water emulsion and the slow cooking of lobster. When the tail of the lobster is a muscle, and just like all muscles, when it gets heated or used, it contracts and gets tight and tough. And you don't want to overcook the lobster, then it itself will become tough, and the texture of the mouthfeel will go dull. So with the blanc mange, it's sitting in a water that is room temperature. I'd say you should be able to put your finger into it and not burn yourself. It should be like a sauna. And you let the lobster hang out and chill in there while you're doing everything else. Those will work. This pan is slightly a little too hot. The reason I heated it up was to be able to melt the butter a little bit quickly. But these will cool it down. about 3 or 4 minutes left on the peppers. I'm going to strain off some of this liquid into the peppers to give it a little bit more depth of flavor with the onion.
If y'all have any questions as this demonstration is going on, shout them out.
I'm deglaze with the Jameson. This is 4 ounces of Jameson. It doesn't really need 4 ounces to glaze with, but it's always good to have a little bit more whiskey than you planned on.
How long do you leave the lobster in that water? How long do you leave the lobster in?
The lobster, you want the flesh of the lobster. People go by like the color of the lobster. If it's red, it's done, but it's still going to be red if it's overcooked. The best thing to do is just take it out, and it should be, I'd say if you put your thumb to your middle finger, just gently, and pressed it with a little bit of pressure, it should be about that sort of density, I would say. That's a safe time to pull it off, because then it will continue to cook even after it's been pulled off the heat. Everything has a residual cooking to it. Some stuff holds heat better, like stuff that's starchy, like potatoes, and it has a longer residual cook time. Lobster, mussels, shellfish don't really have that long of a residual cook time, so you can pull it off pretty much exactly where you need to be. But if you're going to reheat it for dinner guests, if you had to reheat it or put it back in the blanc, then you'd be able to at that point. As you see, the blanc, it's kind of cloudy and incorporated. I don't know if I can tilt it enough for everybody. You cannot really over butter the blanc. With the lobster kill, in terms of presentation, you can do it a number of ways. You can either cut the bottom, slit the bottom, pull the meat out from the bottom, or you can cut with scissors across the top of the lobster, pull it out sort of like a cruise ship type demonstration where you put the meat on top. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply split it. I would like to show you the vein and the intestinal tract that's in there. I know it's kind of, but it's going to be even more if you cook it. So it's just not, it's not going to hurt anybody, but it's still not pleasant to know that you are eating a lobster intestinal tract. So again, you look in, there's the main meat of the lobster, and then there is this top layer of meat. There's a little fold in between there, and that is where usually the vein and the intestines sit. All our lobsters are wild caught, imported from Maine. Because that they're imported from Maine, we have to, unfortunately, get them frozen. Because to keep it within the fresh time frame would be very difficult to do being in Middle Tennessee. But not necessarily all frozen product is bad, as long as the purveyor can tell you that there are things like flash frozen, that they're on the boat and things like that, not necessarily sitting there on the shelf and then all of a sudden deciding to be frozen. But all food is inspected before it ever even thinks about being presented to the public. I turn back stuff all the time. Our purveyors hate me, but at the same time, my concern is y'all. My concern isn't their relations to me. So, anyhow, lobster is split, deveined and cleaned, put into the blanc, check the water, a little hot, but turn it down to low. In fact, it's so hot, I'm just going to take it right off the burner. Peppers are almost done. This is the white wine velouté that I made at the bowl before I came here. What a velouté is one of the 5 mother sauces. There are 5 sauces that pretty much every sauce in the entire world, regardless of where you are at in the world, that the sauce is then a derivative thereof. A bechamel, which is a white roux. A roux is usually used in like making chowder or making gravy. There is also a bechamel, which is a cream and white roux. That will more a thicker variation. There's more steps to each one of the mother sauces. I'm just kind of giving you an overlay of them. Espanol, which is dark roux, and like a dark stock. You got the sauce tomate, which is tomato and tomato paste for thickener. And then finally there is hollandaise, which is the butter sauce and vinegar emulsion. Probably see hollandaise on a lot of things. I was a big fan of hollandaise. Hollandaise can be transformed into all kinds of different things. It's rich and savory. The vinegar added to the butter, some nice tang to it. It goes well with a lot of dishes, meats, porks, even seafoods. So this white wine veloute, or the white wine bechamel right here, is just a house white wine. I made a white roux. I used butter as my fat. All-purpose flour, then added to the cream and white wine to thicken. And then I reduced it and added a dark chicken stock that I then made. We didn't have time to make dark chicken stock here, so that's why I prepared this one thing. But I wanted to go. But you can use Knorr chicken base. You can use chicken bouillon cubes, and just any sort of heavy cream. And the roux is just all-purpose flour and melted butter into what the texture of I'd say the texture of peanut butter. So melt the butter, add the flour, peanut butter texture paste type deal. That's the roux. White wine, cream. If you want to add some sauteed onions to it, you can. Whatever you'd like to do. Take the roux, add it to the cream, whisk it, thickens up a little bit. White wine sauce. That's all that this is. So now we're going to reduce the cream and the white wine sauce and the onions and the peppers and the Jameson. These peppers are done. This machine is very old and very loud, so I'm going to have Robert take care of this part of it. Make sure, if you're to make a coulis at home, you put the peppers in hot. Once you put the lid on your blender, I've noticed this problem throughout all types of blenders and liquidizers and food processors. If the lid doesn't lock, the lid will explode. So this is not a locking lid. But
Handed out the sheets of plastic for the truck yet?
I'm gonna cover it up with a towel. Maybe two, just.
make sure there's a little liquid into the bottom. What that does is just facilitate the blending of the peppers. The more liquid that is down there, the more liquid it will be. The less liquid, the more thicker and more tougher and consistent it will be. So it depends on whatever you would like to do. If you would like it to have more of, if you're going to emulsify it into a stock or a sauce, the liquidier the better, I would say, until flavor is compromised. So it's going to be loud for about 30-40 seconds. I apologize. Thanks, bro. This is a coulis. The coulis is just simply a cooked down reduction of a vegetable or a fruit group and turned into a sauce. So we're going to add the coulis now to the double Moorish sauce. I really want this sauce to have. I really want the sauce to have a lot of the red pepper as the primary flavor. Everything else complementing and secondary to the red pepper and complementing it. So when building a sauce, I always think about what do I want people to experience upon the first bite? What's going to be the mouthfeel of it? Is it going to be savory, smooth? Is there going to be texture to it? And what is the first sensation? Outside of just flavor, I always think about sensation too. I preferably like heat and hot. And I know a lot of people don't really necessarily like heat and hot, so I have a sort of like personal issue with trying to not implement that into a lot of my dishes. But with this, the red pepper, all it is just a more mature green pepper. So there isn't really a heat element to it. I'm going to check the lobster. The lobster is firm. You can touch. I'm going to flip it. Flipping, what it does is now the shell insulates the backside of the flesh that I did not cook, but it will allow the cooking through the back part of the flesh. When you use a blanc mange, with most meats, when you cook a steak, you take a steak off, let it rest, because the muscles contracted from the heat. Resting allows all the juices to come out. I don't know if you've ever been to a restaurant, order like a medium well or a well-done steak, and it comes out and there's blood on the plate. And like the first thought is like, oh man, there's blood on the plate, it's not well done or whatever. All it is just resting, or the meat resting. It might very well be well done. Because the longer it cooks, the longer it's on the heat, the more contracted it gets, the more it's going to expel the moisture that's in the meat. Same thing with the lobster. But again, the rest period of lobster is fractional. I mean, I'd rest it for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, especially if you cook it in such a slow blanc mange like that. Because it itself is already rested. So even though it's cooked, it's still not contracted whatsoever. Still completely loose. This looks pretty reduced, pretty nice right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shrimp, all the things that take just seconds to cook, just to build up and finally give the finishing touches on the sauce. So I'm going to use a mixture of crab claw and lumped crab meat. I'm going to take the tails off the shrimp to make it a little bit more user-friendly to eat. At the pub, I don't chop up the shrimp. I want everyone to know what they're getting a lot of times. So if you get like a pasta and it comes with pan-seared salmon or pan-seared fish and I set the fish on top, I always want people to know what they're getting. I always want people to know they're getting their money's worth and that they see the product and that they see all of it that's involved with it. Even though incorporating it into the sauce makes it a little bit more, like I said, user-friendly, seeing nice whole shrimp, nice whole scallops, nice big pan-seared beautiful salmon or any sort of other fish, it's really nice just to look. The presentation is, I feel, it's the first impression that people get. And if the presentation isn't right, then the rest of the dish, even though it may be perfect, will fall substandard to everything else. Because you already have an idea in your mind. When you see the dish, you're like, ooh, and it looks a little, I guess, haphazardly thrown together. You're going to think that it's not thought out and not prepared well. So that's reduced. You can see it's kind of thick now. The lobster is for sure done. Also, again, completely loose, not tight and dense whatsoever. After this is complete, what I do then is I use the entree bowl that we have at the pub. I really like bowls. I like plating with bowls, even though maybe it's not necessarily a bowl type dish. I just like seeing plate. I like a nice, heavy, healthy looking plate. It makes me feel like I'm eating something more substantial, more maybe fancy in a way. Again, the shrimp cooks very quickly, especially with this sauce being so hot as it is. And again, with lobster, you don't want to overcook it. It becomes tough. It becomes unusable. And no one likes tough taste. That's amazing. You can really taste the red pepper. You can really taste the onion in there. A little delicate flavor towards the end. Cream, very savory. And again, completely doable at home. And with the leftover coulis that you make from the red peppers, it will hold for 14 days, maybe 10 days, 14 days in the fridge, just to make sure you let it cool. This is just simply Japanese breadcrumbs. It's called panko, but any breadcrumb will work. Just if you find stale bread at the house, or even anything really, any kind of bread, make breadcrumb out of, it'll add awesomeness. Cornbread would be fantastic as a crust on top of this. I'm a big fan of cornbread. If you hadn't came to the pub in the last week or so, my wife put together my wife's a pastry chef. She did a jalapeno cheddar cornbread, and it was the most magical thing I've ever tasted. It was fantastic. I was just floored with it. So if we had a broiler, or if we don't have a broiler, but you have just a stationary oven, you can put broil on it. Throw your plate into the broiler, brown the breadcrumb, to give it a nice crust to it with the lobster tail. Just for presentation's sake, I just simply stack the lobsters on top. And that's number one. I hope we had a wonderful time. I hope it wasn't too boring. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you for having me.
Any questions for Chef Ben? Please note that the Bull and Thistle is going to be starting demonstration cooking classes over the next couple of months. We have to, of course, rush this within a 30-minute period of time, but once the classes start, you'll actually see the preparation step by step and participate in that if you so wish. So keep watching us on Facebook and watching our website, and hopefully sign up for some of those classes. Thank you very much.